Hi besties, welcome back to the channel. On today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how I made this requested tutorial from a subscriber. It is a dress and it has an asymmetric neckline. So if you want to know how I achieve this, do not skip any part of this video. Now for this tutorial, I've marked out from the starting line, came down 9 inches for my chest line and 16 inches for my waist. So this is chest line and my waist line. On the starting line, I'm going to take my neck width of 3.5 inches. I will mark. Now for the shoulder, my shoulder is 7.5, but this is a sleeveless dress, so I took out 1 inch from that. So I marked 6.5 on the starting line and on the chest line, and I'll connect. So now I'll come down 1 inch from my shoulder slope and I'll connect it to the neck width. We're just drafting out a basic bodice. So this is a very simple tutorial. So after that, I'll measure what I have left on the armhole, and what I have is 8, half of that is 4. On that point, I came in by half an inch, but before that, I took my round bust measurement divided by 4 and I added 1.5 inches for my stitching allowance. Now, on that 4 inches point, I'll come out by half an inch. I'll connect the 3 points together to cover out my armhole. So we do this all the time on the channel. So on the waistline now, I'll be dividing my round width by 4. I'll mark and I'll add my 1.5 inches stitching allowance. So the one we are trying to recreate does not have a dart. That's why I did not add any darts. But if you want to add a dart to this, you're free to do so. So now we're done with drafting out our basic body. So all we have to do is to cut out. So guys, thank you guys so much. Guys, I've been busy. Life has been happening to your girl, but then we are pushing. So I'm so sorry that I've not been putting out content. I will do more, please. So now this is what they have. So I'm going to open up this so that we can cut out our neckline. So this is what we have. So now I'm going to get my shoulder line. So I'll fold it together again. So I'll mark my shoulder point. So I'll open this piece up again. Now from that to neckline, I'll come down by 7 inches on both sides, both on the left and on the right side. I'll rule them out into a straight line. Then I will square it out. So this is what we have now from the center line. So you see that script line on the paper. That's the center line. Initially, I went up by 2 inches here, but I later reduced it to 1.5. So I'll connect from this tip of the neckline to meet the center point, and I'll connect from the other side to meet the center point. So if you want your neckline to be deeper, you can come down by 8 inches, like you can maintain your chest line, but I didn't want it that deep. That's why I just made use of 7 inches. So this is like a W neckline. So do you see what we have? Now we are done. The next thing is just to cut out. So just trim off the excess we have and watch the places I'm cutting. So guys, if you have watched up to this point and you've not hit that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? And guys, you can follow me on my Facebook at Ibichukusom, and you can equally follow me at So with Somi on Instagram too. So after cutting out, this is what we have. Now we'll be extending the back. So the back stopped at the chest line. So we'll extend the front neckline, the front shoulder rather. We'll extend the front shoulder so that it will get to the back. So before you do this part, please draft out your back so that you can measure to know the amount you need to complete it. So for mine is 8 inches, but I added extra 1 inch to that, making it 9 inches. So now I'll just extend it by 9 inches this way. So I'll do the same on this other side. Then I'll connect. So I'll just trim that excess I have on the sides out. So that's what I have now. I'll do the same for this other side. I'll tape it down and I'll extend it by 9 inches just like I did for the front, just like it for the other side. So I'm doing this in this way so that you guys will understand, so there won't be any misunderstanding. So I'll just extend it by 9 inches and I'll connect them together. So at this point now, if you don't want your the sleeve to be too wide like mine, here you can decide to reduce it by half an inch on both sides, so that by the time you're done turning, the sides will reduce. But I wanted mine this way, so that's why I did not reduce it. Because if you watch the one we're trying to recreate, hers was a little bit lower, narrower at the end. So if you want it that way, this is where you can reduce yours. So after that, this is what we have. This is what the front piece is looking like. So I'm going to keep this. So let's draft out our back. Now for the back, I've marked out my chest line, I've marked out my half length. So just like we did for the front, the neck width is 3.5 inches. Now for the shoulder is 6.5 because I took out 1 inch. This is a sleeveless dress and I marked the same 6.5 on the chest line. So for the neck width, I use 3.5 inches. And for the depth, I use 1 inch. So we don't even need this because the back stopped at the chest line. So I'm going to be coming down 1 inch for the shoulder slope and I'll connect. So I'm doing this so that you guys will understand, so there won't be any misunderstanding. On the chest line, divided my round bust by 4, marked and added 1.5 inches for stitching allowance. And I did the same thing on my waistline, divided my round waist by 4, then added 1.5 for stitching allowance, and I'll connect the two together. Now I'll just cover up my armhole, and this is how easy the back is. So the next thing is I'll be cutting off the back from the chest line like I said. But before we cut off this part, so measure what you have. You see I have 8 inches, so this is what my strap is, so that's why I made it 9 inches. So this is the length I added to the front shoulder. I hope you guys understand now, but if you have any question you can ask me on the comment section. I'm always ready to answer all your questions. So now this is what we have. Now for the back, remember you're going to be adding your zipper allowance while cutting on the fabric. Let's draft out the skirt. Now for my skirt, I folded my fabric into two. Now I'm going to take off 16 inches for my waistline for the upper part. Then I'll take the full length I want my dress to be. So mine is 38 inches, including my hemming allowance. So after that, I came down 9 inches for my hip point. So on the hip point, I divided my round hip by 4, which is 40 divided by 4 give you 10. Added 1 inch for stitching allowance. On the waistline, I divided my round waist by 4, which is 28 divided by 4 give you 7. And I added 1 inch for stitching allowance. I connected to the hip line. Now on the full length of the dress, I'll be taking out 1 inch from the hip line. So I'll be marking 10 inches on the full length because this is a pencil dress. Now this is what we have. That is all for this is how to draft a basic skirt. So now we're just going to cut it off. So like I said guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and on your post notification button, please. Now we'll use the front to cut out the back. I've placed another fabric on fold and placed my basket. So this is for the back skirt. So I'm just arranging it to make sure everything is matching each other. So here I've ruled out my hip line. So I'm just making sure that I have 1.5 inches on that hip line, but it was not enough, so I'll measure again. Here it was more than 1.5 inches, so I'll readjust it again. So after measuring it now, I got the 1.5 inches on the hip line. So on the waistline, I'll be marking 1 inch, so this is for the hip allocation. So on the hip point we have 1.5, but on the waistline I'll be marking 1 inch, and I'll connect that 1 inch to the 1.5 inches I have on the hip point. So just watch what I'm doing as I'm explaining. My hand is doing the job. So on that hip point, I'll come down 4 inches below the hip point and I'll mark 1 inch. So I'll be marking 1 inches all the way down to the full length. So I'll connect from the hip point to meet the 1 inch. And that is all for the hip allocation for the back piece. So all I have to do now is just to cut out all the excess I have on the zipper allowance side, on the hem, and on the side of the skirt. So if there's any part you don't understand in this tutorial, you guys know I'm always open to answer your questions on the comment section. Like I said, like, hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. So now this is for the skirt. Now you can decide to turn your skirt with a lining, but my fabric is quite thick, so I'll not be turning it with a lining. So I'll place it this way, right side facing each other. I'll take it to the machine and I'll be stitching it down with the one inch stitching allowance. I'll bring the other part of the skirt. I'll do the same thing, right side facing each other, and I'll turn and I'll stitch with 1 inch. So if you want to turn yours with a lining, please do so. So I'll keep this aside. Let's work on our front. Now for the front piece, I've cut out the front piece and its lining, and I've done the same for the back. I have two pieces for the main piece and two pieces for the lining. So here, so just if you're confused on the wrong side, so please use your chalk to mark it out. So here I'm just trying to arrange my back pieces the way I'll be joining it on the machine. So I'll get the lining for each piece, I'll place it on it. So I'll be arranging the linings on them. So after arranging it, I'll take it to the machine. I'll close all sides, leaving only the hem open. So that's where we'll be turning from. So I'll do the same for the second piece. Now I'll keep it aside. Now for the front, I have the main piece and the lining. So this is what I have. So what I will do now is I'll take it to the machine. I'll close the sides with 1/2 inch all the way, closing the armhole. I'll leave the shoulder open. Then I'll come to the neckline using the same 1/2 inch, turn the asymmetric neckline. Then close the side, leaving the shoulder open. Then close the armhole and the side. So we'll be turning it from the lower part. So after stitching, so I'll do all of this, iron it back and bring it back to show you what I have. So after turning it, so you see how neat it looks. I've ironed it out. So this is what the front looks like, and I've equally just imputed my body measurements. So I'll get the two back pieces. So here is the back. I've closed it. I've closed the zipper allowance and ironed it out. So what I'm going to do now is I'll place them right side facing each other this way. So I'll take it to the machine. I'll close it using the allowance and I'll bring it back to show you. So after closing, this is what we have. But first, this is the skirt. I've closed my skirt. So this is what I have. So if you want to turn it with lining, you're free. So this is for the upper part. I've turned it out, like I've joined the back and the front. So, and I've equally opened my zip. So now I'll place them right side facing each other. I'll take it to the machine. I'll be stitching it down using 1/2 inch. So I'll do all of that and I'll bring it back to show what I have. So after stitching, guys, you see how beautiful this is coming out. So now to attach the back, so just place it just few, maybe 1/2 inch after your zipper allowance and stitch it down, or you can put your zip before stitching it down. So this is how you'll be stitching it down. So that is why we extended the front neckline. So this is what we have. So now I'll go put my zip and I'll stitch it down. I'll bring it back to show you what we have. Now guys, after stitching this down, you see how neat this looks, and this is for the back. This is how the back looks. So guys, is this not an easy tutorial? So this is us coming to the end of this tutorial. So thank you guys so much for watching up to this point. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel and on your post notification. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.